We will get there. And I see people making uncanny comparisons with Paul Kagame, my good friend Ibrahim Traore. And I say, some of these folks are operating in a slightly different environment, where their word is obeyed instantly, without question. It's a different environment. You say, this guy is not doing things. Traore is doing them. Traore wakes up, dreams them up. Following morning, he makes a pronouncement. It is law. It is policy. Action follows.
Africa is entering a new era. The wave of change is not just political, it's generational. Across the continent, a new spirit of courage, independence, and unity is rising. Two names at the heart of this transformation are Captain Ibrahim Traore, the revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso, and Duma Gideon Boko, the newly elected president of Botswana. Their friendship, rooted in Pan-African values and strengthened by shared goals, has sparked hope across the continent. With Africa often viewed through the lens of poverty and conflict, the rise of such leaders offers a powerful counter-narrative, one where African nations chart their own destiny. In this video, we explore the relationship between Traore and Boko, the potential visit to Botswana, and the symbolic power of this alliance. We also examine the wider implications for African unity, sovereignty, and the challenges they must navigate, including foreign influence. Let's begin this journey into the heart of Africa's rising. In 2022, a little-known army captain named Ibrahim Traore rose to power in Burkina Faso through a popular military transition. His mission? To restore national pride, root out corruption, and resist neo-colonial control, especially by foreign powers exploiting African resources. Traore quickly became a symbol for Africa's youth, bold, defiant, and unafraid to challenge the status quo. His speeches inspired millions across the continent, and his policies aligned with African self-determination. Unlike typical transitional leaders, Traore focused on building institutions that would last beyond his term. He emphasized education, local industries, and unity among African nations. His actions earned him admiration far beyond Burkina Faso's borders. Now, his potential visit to Botswana signals something more: the strengthening of a continent-wide movement. Botswana is often overlooked in global headlines, yet it consistently ranks as one of Africa's most peaceful, stable, and democratic countries. With a strong judiciary, minimal corruption, and respect for human rights, Botswana is a model of what's possible on the continent. President Duma Boko, a lawyer and academic turned statesman, came to power in 2025, promising transformation and African unity. His election marked a turning point, not only for Botswana but for the southern region as a whole. Many see his leadership style as similar to Traore's, transparent, people-centered, and grounded in Pan-African philosophy. It's no surprise that observers now call him the Southern Traore. The combination of Traore's fire and Botswana's calm offers a powerful message. Africa can rise with both boldness and wisdom. The 2025 inauguration of Ghana's President John Mahama became more than just a political ceremony. It turned into a historic Pan-African gathering. Leaders from across the continent attended, but the most talked-about interaction was between Captain Traore and Duma Boko. Sources say their chemistry was instant. Shared ideas, visions, and values flowed freely. Traore praised Botswana's stability and encouraged Boko to join the growing call for African nations to speak with one voice. Their handshake, captured on camera, went viral. African youth on social media called it the moment the new Africa was born. It was more than symbolism. It marked the beginning of what could be a lasting alliance between two of Africa's most promising young leaders. Since then, signs of increased collaboration have grown, leading to speculation about a formal state visit. Pan-Africanism, once championed by greats like Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, and Thomas Sankara, is being reborn. For decades, the idea of a united Africa seemed distant, but now, new leaders are giving it life again. Both Traore and Boko speak openly about African independence, not just from colonialism, but from debt traps, economic dependency, and media narratives controlled from outside. Their message resonates with millions who believe Africa must first believe in itself. By strengthening regional cooperation and resisting foreign military influence, these leaders are planting the seeds of a Pan-African future, one where African problems are solved by African solutions. Botswana's peaceful image, combined with Burkina Faso's revolutionary energy, makes for a unique partnership, one that could become a blueprint for continental transformation. Despite the optimism, there's a storm cloud. Rumors have emerged of a possible U.S. military base being considered in Botswana, causing concern among Pan-African thinkers. Some see this as a strategic move by the West to counter rising African nationalism. President Boko has neither confirmed nor denied the speculation. However, many believe his alliance with Traore indicates a preference for African-led security initiatives over foreign intervention. Traore himself has been vocal about removing all foreign troops from Burkina Faso. His influence may pressure Botswana to clarify its position and avoid being caught in a geopolitical tug-of-war. This moment will test whether Botswana continues its sovereign path or falls under external pressure. Traore and Boko represent a broader wave of change. Across the continent, young, educated, and connected Africans are demanding accountability, local industry development, and fair leadership. Other emerging leaders, in Senegal, Kenya, and even parts of North Africa, echo similar values. This generation is more Pan-African, more entrepreneurial, and more determined than ever before. What connects them all is the rejection of victimhood. They don't see Africa as a continent in crisis, but as a sleeping giant finally waking up. This awakening is being documented not just in policies, but in culture, music, education, and media. If Traore visits Botswana, it will be far more than a diplomatic gesture. It would symbolize a continental handshake between resistance and stability, revolution and reform. Such a visit could also spark new economic and security partnerships, youth collaboration programs, and shared infrastructure projects between the two countries. It could also serve as a clear message to both Africans and the international community. Africa is no longer waiting for permission to lead itself. For African youth watching from across the continent, this visit could be the moment that redefines what leadership looks like in Africa. No movement is without obstacles. Both Traore and Boko face domestic critics, external pressures, and the challenge of turning vision into results. Corruption, underdevelopment, and global economic forces remain constant threats. Moreover, Pan-Africanism is not always popular with political elites who benefit from the status quo. Pushing for unity can make leaders enemies in both local and international circles. But if history teaches us anything, it's that great change often starts with risk-takers who see beyond the immediate. The road ahead may be tough, but the direction is clear. As the sun rises over the continent each day, more Africans are choosing hope over despair, unity over division, and pride over shame. Leaders like Traore and Boko are not perfect, but they represent something powerful: possibility. Their friendship, grounded in shared ideals, is more than politics. It is a statement that Africa is ready to lead itself, to inspire the world, and to reclaim its narrative. Whether or not Traore visits Botswana, one thing is certain: the Pan-African flame is lit again. And this time, it's being carried by a generation that refuses to let it go out.
Wow, revolutionary greetings, all of you, dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans. What things come to your mind when you hear this kind of information that President of Botswana, President Gideon Duma Boko, has invited his counterpart, President of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore? What things come to your mind? Do you see a new Africa? Do you see a united Africa? Do you see a borderless continent? What comes to your mind? But all in all, my dear lovely family, this is a good and great thing to see that leaders, especially this young generation, are finding platform where they can come together and discuss several issues facing our mother continent, Africa. We know that Botswana is famous for producing diamond. Also, Burkina Faso is famous for producing gold, but one thing that Burkina Faso did is to take control of its gold. In Botswana, still resources are under some Western companies, and I hope maybe this will be a starting conversation on how Botswana can own its own diamond. Yes, we want Africans to benefit from their resources. Yes, we are going to collaborate with others. We are going to work with these multinational companies. We are going to find investors, but also we want to see that Africans are also part of investment. You know, in Africa, when you talk about investors, you are talking about white people, you are talking about Chinese. We are not considering black people. That's why you saw that many of our mines and these resources are being operated or being extracted by other people, especially Chinese, Europeans, and Americans. When it comes for Africans to invest in these resources, it looks like Africans, we are not capable to do so. But in Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore has changed those narratives and making sure that it's Africans first who are going to process their own resources. And I hope these things will go to other countries such as Botswana. My dear lovely family, you know that right now Africa is suffering with the issue of economic independence. Many of our countries are being indebted. We have been suffering with these loans, but we have resources. I hope if our leaders like Traore, Duma Boko, Mama Natumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, Samia Suluhu Hassan, and other leaders, Paul Kagame, can come together and strategize, having their own meeting on how we can benefit from our natural resources. We can stop taking loans from other Western countries. Sometimes we are being funded by these NGOs, small group of people are funding our government. I think the time has come for African leaders to see what we can do with our resources to make sure that we are going to fund our projects. Right now we are talking about continental free trade areas, but do we have infrastructures to facilitate continental free trade areas? Do we have those infrastructures? So I think this is a time for African leaders to come together to discuss what we can do to make sure that we are going to have infrastructures. And of course, I've seen good example in Burkina Faso that young people are building their own infrastructures. If you look the population of Africa that we have, many of our young people are so professional. Some of them are engineers. So we can use these young people. Instead of hiring Chinese, we can use our people. What we need to do is to provide equipment to them, the way Captain Ibrahim Traore has done, not only on road construction, even in mining sectors. We need to give young people excavators and other machineries so that they can extract minerals. Then those amount of money will remain here in the continent of Africa. Because if you give these things to Chinese, to Europeans, or others, what they are doing is to take those resources, sometimes into law forms, to their homes. And if they take those resources into law forms, it means they're exporting jobs, they're exporting revenues, they're exporting also technologies. But if all those things can be done here in the continent, it means we increase technologies, creativity, also revenues will remain here in the continent of Africa, and also will create jobs to our young men and women. So this is a good news for me, and of course for the entire continent of Africa, that the president of Botswana, President Duma Gideon Bok, has invited the president of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore. We wish to see African leaders working together. We want to see Africans working together. I have seen President Natumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, the president of Namibia, visited almost all SADC countries, and he shared his vision, the vision of unity. That's the thing that we want to hear from our leaders. If you listen, our founding fathers, all of them, starting with Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Nyerere, Mandela, Modibo Keita, Sam Nujoma, and many others, Samola Moises, Machel, Kenneth Kaunda, all of them, and many others, all of them, they are speaking about one issue, independence. But what our leader right now are talking about, what is the message of our leaders? Right now, our message must become economic. Free Africa, united Africa. So if you can, all of us having a single vision, I think we can achieve. We can achieve to have a united Africa. My dear lovely family, always in this platform, we address the issue of unity. We know that unity is very important for us to achieve what we want to achieve. We cannot achieve development or any economic issues without having unity. We are talking about value addition. How can we add value to our natural resources if we cannot collaborate? All of us, we know that we are main producer of natural resources, but these natural resources must be value added. And if we can collaborate, work together, I think we can do better than before. So, dear lovely family, up to that, I have no more to share with you, but I hope this will be a good news to all of us, the people of Africa. And if this is a true and real, it will be a game changer for the entire continent of Africa. We want our leaders to come together, to work together, to see each other as brothers and sisters. Yes, we have differences, maybe we have different ideologies, but we must know that we are Africans. Up to that, have no more. Let me say, stay in power. See you next time. Thank you.
Where their word is obeyed,
A new spirit of courage, independence, and unity is rising. Two names at the heart of this transformation are Captain Ibrahim Traore, the revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso. African nations chart their own destiny. In this video, we explore the relationship between Traore and Boko, the potential visit to Botswana, and this looked in global headlines, yet it consistently ranks as one of Africa's most peaceful, stable, and democratic countries. Botswana's calm offers a powerful message. Africa can rise with both bold ceremony. It turned into a historic Pan-African gathering. Leaders from across the continent attended, but the most talked-about interaction was between Captain Traore and Duma Boko, caught in a geopolitical tug-of-war, represent a broader wave of change. Global economic force always popular. Pushing for unity can make leaders enemies in both despair.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, freedom. Thank you, Africa.